This is the last time you are going to see this stock telescopic fork setup on my motorcycle. Hello everyone, I'm Sriniket from KPH Moto. You're watching KMPara Vlogs, and let's start the year 2025 with a banger of a video on this channel, which is the installation of the 43mm golden upside down forks from the TVS Ronin on my TVS Apache 204V. This is my 2021 BS6 TVS Apache 204V, the only motorcycle which TVS haven't bothered to update in their entire premium lineup. But then I thought, why not update the motorcycle, modify the motorcycle in a way that TVS would have updated themselves. In this video, I'll be showing you step by step on how you can install these golden upside down forks on your Apache 204V without any cutting, welding, lathe work, or replacing the front alloy of the motorcycle, and also upsizing the front disc. Stay tuned till the end of the video. I'll also be sharing the part numbers and the pricing of each and every part, and also all the custom parts which will be required to successfully do this setup on your motorcycle, the Apache 204V. Let's get started. Why did I go for the TVS Ronin Forks specifically and not any other fork setup available in the market from other motorcycles and other manufacturers? Well, when companies design motorcycles in their lineup, they design it around a platform. A platform means many things are common, like cone sets and other consumable parts, the bearings and many other standard parts. That's the reason the cone set of the TVS Ronin and the Apache 204V match, because the frame, the chassis of the motorcycle is very much similar with slight changes in the geometry. Also, the brake caliper on the TVS Ronin and the Apache 204V are identical, even the 164V, which meant I had to replace much lesser number of parts, spare parts, in order to successfully mount the setup on the motorcycle. So the costing was dropped down significantly. A lot of the things like the handle lock, the bump stops which stop the handle turning way too much, more than the travel required and hitting the tank, the plastic parts of the motorcycle, even those bump stops match directly from the TVS Ronin to the Apache 204V. And I know the next question, which is why did I not opt for the 164V's USD Forks setup, which has been recently launched in the market. 43mm is any day more than 41mm, right? Bigger the better. That's the reason I went for the TVS Ronin Forks. Now let's talk about the spare parts required for this installation. First of all, you will need the entire USD fork setup and the lower T plate with the cone set stem attached to it. You can go for the lower spec TVS Ronin's black color USD forks as well, but personally on the white Apache, the golden ones look golden, no pun intended. Then you'll need to replace the front axle of the motorcycle, because the mounting points of the axle on the fork legs are completely different for the Apache 200 and the TVS Ronin. Next, you'll have to replace the front disc plate. The reason for that, the caliper mounting of the upside down fork and the Apache 200's stock Showa setup is completely different, and you won't be able to mount the caliper with the stock disc plate because the pads won't overlap with the stock disc of the Apache, and you will end up with no front brakes at all. So that is another added advantage for going for the Ronin forks rather than the 164V forks. I was able to upsize the front disc size and increase the stopping power, as well as improve the handling and the ride quality of the motorcycle. Next is the front mudguard or the front fender assembly from the 164V, which was recently launched. Previously, I tried to install the front mudguard of my own motorcycle, the stock one, original one, with the help of the metal bracket which comes with the TVS Ronin, but then it did not work very well. I had to do a bit of welding, but then the height of the mudguard was too much and it was hitting the front headlight, the bottom part of the headlight. So I had to opt for the brand new 164V front mudguard, which looks stellar in my opinion. Now about the top T plate, we at KPH Moto have already manufactured hundreds upon hundreds of handlebar riser kits with the custom top T plates. I know a lot of you guys watching have already purchased the KPH Moto handlebar riser kit for the stock 200 for me from us. Thank you so much for the support. So in this case, I designed a custom top T plate which goes with the T set, the cone set, and also the USD forks, which are much fatter and much further apart compared to the stock motorcycle. Now comes the part of installation. Now the installation process is very straightforward. Let's start First of all, you need to dismantle the headlamp assembly, the front fork setup, which were the stock telescopic forks, the Showa reload adjustable forks. The ride quality of those forks was pretty impressive, but then I needed more of that front end feel. That's why I opted for this setup. Next, you need to remove the brake caliper and also the front wheel with the spacers. Mind you, the front spacers, the front axle spacers are also identical between the TVS Apache and the TVS Ronin, which is going to prove very helpful in this installation part. Fortunately, because the Ronin and the Apache share a similar platform, or the same platform for that matter, the mounting points, the mounting bolts of the front disc plate match directly with the Ronin and the Apache on the alloy and the disc plate. Also, the front ABS sensor, the ABS ring, is identical on the Ronin and the Apache. If you are new to working on motorcycles, I'll suggest you to do the cone set work at an expert mechanic's place. In this case, I went for a garage which has been recently opened by my friend Jay Kumkar, which is Speed Moto. He has helped me a lot with the installation, the entire process of this modification. So hats off to Jay once again for that. So once the cone set was installed, which was identical with the Ronin and the Apache, the runners and the bearings and all, the top T plate, the custom top T plate from KPH Moto was installed on the cone set from the top. Then comes the process of installing those gorgeous looking 43mm USD Forks onto the bottom and top T plate of the motorcycle. Now once we installed the golden upside down forks on the motorcycle, it's very important to balance them, which means that the height of the forks, the point where the axle meets on both of the forks, should be perfectly in line. Otherwise you'll end up with a very imbalanced motorcycle and even uneven wear on the front tire and weird handling, pulling to the right or left. So that's a very crucial step. Now when it comes to USD forks, majority of the time the internals, the internal damping and the spring rates are slightly different on both the sides. Companies do that to better manage and increase the working of the forks and the sophistication which these guys provide. The forks have been designed by Showa, and the ride quality and the sophistication in the ride quality is just next level. It's a huge step up from the stock setup. Because we installed a custom top T plate, we had to do a little bit of lathe work, not on the chassis or the T plate of the motorcycle, but the check nut. Now on the cone set of the Apache 200, there are two nuts. One is mounted just above the top bearings, the top cone set bearings, and the second nut is a check nut which locks the first nut in place. There is a collar around 5 to 6 millimeters tall above the check nut, which had to be trimmed off at the lathe machine in order to mount the top T plate, custom top T plate from KPH Moto, and to secure it on top of it with another nut which comes with the Apache stock. So that was the only lathe work which was required in this modification. Till this point the installation was going pretty smooth, but then we hit our first bump stop, which is the distance between the front brake caliper and the disc plate. Now because we did not opt for the TVS Ronin front alloy and we mounted the brake disc directly on the Apache 200 4V's stock alloy, the distance between the front disc plate and the mounts of the brake caliper were different. The points are further outward on the TVS Ronin's alloy, but then because the Apache's alloy's design was slightly different, the disc was further inward towards the center of the wheel. We had to install a couple of spacers and slightly longer bolts in order to shift the brake caliper inward towards the center of the wheel to match the center of the disc plate and the caliper and match this entire setup without much modifications or alterations. Now previously I was rocking a silver X-Pulse handlebar, but this time I opted for a black one. So we again had to drill a couple of holes in order to match the spools inside the stock switchgear of the Apache with the holes on the handlebar on the X-Pulse, the new handlebar. The risers and the handlebar bracket are identical to the one we sell on KPH Moto. In this way, the entire motorcycle was ready except the ABS sensor, and I was able to ride the motorcycle for the very first time with this brand new setup without the headlamp. Now after this point I was not able to record much because I was constantly traveling for some other work. The design of the top T plate, the custom top T plate from KPH Moto, is such that the original mounting points of the headlamp, the two bolts, match directly, but the lower points were slightly different. So I had to make custom brackets in order to adapt the lower points, the lower mounting points of the Apache's headlamp with the lower T plate of the TVS Ronin. Now I am facing one issue, which is the ABS is not working currently, but no worries, I am making a custom bracket to mount the ABS sensor, the front ABS sensor, slightly near the front alloy, like the stock position, and also the front mudguard. Now the Apache 164V, which was recently launched with the USD Forks, the parts haven't arrived that quickly yet because the bike was recently launched, but the local TVS service center once again helped me a lot. But the front part of the assembly, the painted part, has already arrived. It's just that the rear plastic part, the unpainted part, is still yet to be delivered to me. So in the next part, I'll be completing this setup and I'll be showing you what all custom parts were made in order to solve the ABS issue and the headlamp mounting. Anyways, that was the end of the part 1 of installing the USD Forks 43mm golden USD Forks of the TVS Ronin on the Apache 204V. Well, I need your guys' support. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel right away, because we are very close to hitting 10,000 subscribers on this channel, all thanks to the support from you guys. Stay tuned on the channel because I'm bringing a lot more touring related modifications which will be very helpful for you guys to convert your Apache 204V into a really high quality and proper sport touring motorcycle for those epic long journeys. Stay tuned. I'll see you next time very soon. Always wear a helmet while riding and a seatbelt while driving. I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.